So now, as we proceed through the Book of Lines, and we're now looking at the sun from our perspective here on Earth, and the backdrop to the sun is now hexagram number 8. And we're in the quarter of civilization. We're in this whole stream of gates now, where we're going to have all the gates in the throat center in the human design chart. And the throat center, of course, is our center of communication, expression, speech, and it's also the center of manifestation. How very much what can be put out shows up in some shape or form. And we went through gateway number 23, which was all about this assimilation, like how do we put concepts and ideas and downloads and insights, how do we put these things into sounds or languages in ways that can be communicated, in the ways that we can relay a thought process or a concept or an ideal in some way or other. And so now we're taking it a step further, and we're coming into gateway number 8, where it's all about how do we pool our resources? How do we get people on the same page together? How do we get people to contribute? And so this is the gateway of contribution. It's also called holding together, like gathering things together, gathering all these concepts and ideals together. And it's in the throat center, as I say. It's now the second of the voices after the 23. And again, it's in the individual circuitry. So when we're talking about anything that's in the individual circuitry, we're talking about something that is empowering, it's different, it's novel, it's not part of the collective, it's going somewhere different. And so because this gate's in the throat center, each of the 11 gateways in the throat center have a particular voice to them. And the voice with gateway number 8 is basically, trust me. Do you trust me? And I'll explain a little bit why this voice comes around. So here we are, bottom left-hand corner of the wheel here. And then we see up in the top right-hand side there, we got gateway number 1, which we know is the gateway of creativity. It's the most yang of all the gateways. And they make up this channel of creative leadership. We call it the creative role model. And so here we're talking about the expression, the vocal expression, if you will, of creativity. So very often we have a situation where people just have gateway number 1 and they're highly creative in some way or another in their life. And there's always this question, what do I do with this creativity? How does it find a way to get out into the world? And so gateway number 8 is very handy in a sense of, let's pull these resources together. Let's get this concept or this ideal or this creativity or this artwork or this music or whatever it is you're doing here. Let's find out how to put it out into the world. And as I say, it's in individual circuitry. So there is no necessary fixed pathway for creativity to be put out into the world. It's something different after all. Everyone's used to all the other stuff, the ways that things have already been done before. And so the 1-8 is always putting out things in a different way. And so that's why I say the gateway number 8 very much has this voice of trust me. I know what the destination looks like. I know what we're aiming towards. Don't ask me how we get there. Right? Don't question. If you need a whole bunch of rules and regulations and an instruction book, I may not be your person. You may need to go somewhere else where somebody can deliver all these things to you. The gateway number 8 is, look, I'm going to hold it together. I'm going to make sure that creativity gets put out into a right way into the world, into an successful way into the world. So here we are, the gateway of contribution. Now, we're in this cycle where we're going through 8 hexagrams where the bottom 3 chop marks are all receptivity, broken, broken, broken. All right, so part of our expression into the world through contribution is being receptive to the guidance that we receive. This kind of guidance, where does it come from? How do we know? Just how do you know how to put forward something creative into the world where it catches on, where other people like the idea of it or see it? And so gateway number 8 is bringing this receptivity to the fore. On the top, we have broken, solid, broken, which is the symbology for water. And so here we are, uniting through cooperation. How do you get people on board? How do you get people to express their creative output to cooperate together? And that's what gateway number 8 does. It says, trust me, I know what we're going for. I don't know, I can't necessarily explain to you how we're going to get there. Just trust me, it's going to work. So inspiring trust, that's what we see, inspiring trust and providing possible outlets for those who foster and create novel concepts and ideals. So it's really marshalling all kinds of different people's inputs and possibilities so that the contribution can come together. And this whole channel at 1-8, this channel of leadership, individual leadership, different. It's not like the 731. It's not this logical leadership. We'll go from A to B to C to D. It's not like the abstract 1333 where, you know, somebody did this experience or we've tried this before. This is how we did it. We'll just follow the same footsteps. The 1-8 is going in a completely different way, right? Untried, trust me. And so here we see co-creation. That's what's involved here. Co-creation, right? We are all creators in one way or another. Whatever design we have, we're all have that potential to do something different in this world, to live a unique lifetime. And so here, gateway number 8, co-creation is realized by the contributions of individuals to promote the personal empowerment for one and all. You know, those situations where you just feel like there's everyone's on the same page together. Everybody's leaning into the same thing together. And that's what the 8 does. It just holds the space for that to come about. And so very often we'll see gateway number 8 as the agent, right? There's the creative, there's the artist, there's the people with all these things to put out into the world. And the gateway number 8 says, yeah, just come on board here. I'll sort it out for you. I'll direct the course of your activities. I'll give you the right scripts. I'll give you the right entrees. I'll open up the frontiers for you so that you can get your creativity expressed and exposed into the world. And so the 8 gateway, the agent, plays a very particular role. It's the one who often assists others to expand their creativity. And so how does the 8 work? They have to have a very particular style. They have to have a very particular way of promoting whatever it is that comes through, or however this artwork or this creative or things that nobody's ever seen before, how is it going to come through? How is it going to be promoted? So let's have a look, see at the lines here. And we start with the first line. And the first line really lays down the foundation for the 8th gateway. It's all about authenticity. What is authenticity? Authenticity is being absolutely true to whatever it is that's being espoused here. And it says being candid will attract all those who wish to contribute. Now, how much is the agent involved in this? How much is the 8th gateway holding the space? What are they prepared to do to hold that space? And it says your forthrightness attracts everyone who wishes to engage and co-create with their gifts. And that's the foundation for this 8th gateway. Be straightforward with people. Be forthright. Just say, I don't necessarily know how it's all going to turn out, but I will hold the space until it does, until something happens. We'll try every which way we can to put this creative endeavor forwards. And so the one side of it, you know that your efforts must be offered without concern for obvious rewards. You're in it for the game. You're in it for the play. You have this sense of, yes, I have this gift of bringing people together, of marshalling the energies, of aiming the energies. And I have a very particular way of doing it. The other side of it, you compromise your integrity by volunteering out of turn, becoming exploited or spurned. And there again, you know, as much as you can see how something can go forward or find the benefit of your efforts, there's always this thing of you've got to trust your own type and authority. For those that have a leadership channel, especially this one, the 1-8, there really is that situation of, yes, you're a leader, but there are certain circumstances in which it's totally appropriate to offer that leadership or be drawn into giving that leadership. And other times where absolutely there's nothing needs to be said at all. People need to be able to find you. They need to be able to refer to you. And the key words is, yeah, it's trust me. You've got to be able to trust me without me giving a whole bunch of ideas how it's all going to work. The second line, the line of the friend, and friendliness is an expression of the highest human ideal. Really is. We're in this age where friendship counts for so much. People that see us in a right way, that guide us forward or hold our hands when we're in a difficult situation in life. Just we have that comfort, that friendliness. You naturally empower others through your presence and contributions. And there it is. We always bring out the word natural for second lines. It's just part of the nature is, yeah, we can be friends. And you need my guidance. You need me to represent you in some way or other. Sure, come on board. Your expression of friendship is intrinsic in your nature. So friendship means many, many different things to many, many people. But the second line here with this eighth gateway of holding the space for creative endeavors. And that's really a great space for a friend to be in for you. Your readiness to contribute has an underlying concern to be recognized and appreciated. Sure, but there's a difference between having an interest, we might say a material interest, rather than being, hey, it's my nature to give guidance and give friendship and open that space for you. So friendship has many different connotations to it, but the second line always has this quality of just a natural engagement in things because it's part of who I am. It's part of my ability in things. We get to the third line. The line is called indulging, contributing with a passionate indifference. It's a curious phrase, this one, passionate indifference. It looks like you're all in, like you're really involved, really concerned, but not so much, not really. And here's the issue with third lines. They always have an issue around contribution, commitment. Third lines always have the door open. You know, if I need to leave, I'm leaving, you know, or the window in emergencies. Third lines are always in that situation where they can see how easy it is for them to get into trouble. They get their fingers burned by engaging, by getting too involved in things right away. And so this 8 with the third line is, yeah, I'll be your agent. You know, I'll do whatever's needed here. But, you know, if I've got something else going on, I might, you know, put my attention somewhere else altogether. So third lines are great adapters. If they find the winning streak, if they find the way through, that it'll be a magical experience for everybody. But it's not like they're wholeheartedly committed in seeing it through. It's just a different approach to things. And here it says you need to constantly check the basis of your commitments and the company you attract, right? You may be in that role of being able to sort people out to really help them go ahead with their creative endeavors, but it's about really seeing, am I drawing the right people to me? Am I in a situation where I really can offer this advantage to people to get them going with things? Or is it just, it's a job. It's just what I do. And here it says you express your apparent interest, but often without necessarily ever committing yourself. Right? It's more of a kind of a social presence. It's more of a, yeah, you know, I could do this. Tell me all about it. Yeah, very interesting. So it's just a passionate indifference. Yeah, it can look really, really involved, but make it worth my while. Give me clarity that this is really going to go somewhere. And the other side of it, you rely on techniques to impress others in ways to avoid getting overly involved with them. And there it is. It comes back, that whole thing of the commitment with third lines. Shall I, shan't I? Will I, won't I? And yeah, it's just part of it. It's a lifetime of experimenting. It's a lifetime of opening doorways and seeing what is on offer here. What is it that really wants to engage with me? We come to the fourth line, and the line is called statesmanship. And remember, fourth lines are always looking to draw other people into a collective agreement, if it's possible. So it's really the essence of contributing, is getting everybody to see, yeah, you've got your point of view, you've got your point of view. How can we meld these things together and make it so that it works for everybody? Empowering cooperation by welcoming every individual's contributions. That is really quite a job. Marshalling everybody else's input, because everyone's got a point of view. There's one thing to be really clear about anything in the individual circuitry, especially the voices in the individual circuitry. They're not expressing things that are collective. When we're looking at things like committees and councils and groups of people that are working things out, perhaps sitting around a table working things out, individual gateways, it's not really their thing. They have a way of expressing, this is what needs to happen. This is how we get everybody to contribute their bits and pieces together. And we can't always fall down to the lowest common denominator here. If we're going to express creativity in something new and different, you have to trust the process. And so it's looking around for how do we get everybody else's different contributions and concepts and ideas? How do we marshal these things and bring it to some arrangement where we can move forward? And you give heartfelt encouragement to each individual to contribute in their own unique way. It's a magical gift in a way, being a statesman. You know, there used to be worlds where there were lots of people that we would call stateswomen, stateswomen. And now it's all come down to politicians. And, you know, what a sorry lot that is. There are, in amongst them, every now and again, there's somebody who stands out, but not so much. But that's what the 8th with the 4th line is all about, is finding everybody's creative contributions. You promote everyone to raise their standards through your contributions and example. And there it is, the 8th gateway, the statesman really can stand head and shoulders above everybody else because that is how they are in their life. They hold things to a high standard. The other side of it, working outside the box, right? Negotiating. Your contributions may or may not be appreciated by others. And there it is. It's sometimes you'll just see, I cannot lower the standards here. I have to somehow or other convince everybody how this is all going to work. And so, yes, there can be quite a bit of dramatic maneuvering with all of this to get everybody on board. But that's the work of the statesman. How do you get everybody to see what it is that's really worthwhile and how a creative jump can do something very, very differently? We are moving into the age of the individual. That is very apparent at the moment, that all kinds of corporations and systems that we've relied on, collective systems in a way, they're all kind of coming unglued, the processes that we've relied on. And so the way of the individual, we're all being asked in a way to step up, to be more statesmen and stateswomen, to be authentic, to stand in integrity in our lives, regardless of whatever the collective is running around doing. The 5th line, the line is called benevolence, attuning to how, when, and what to co-create. So 5th lines are always in this role of leadership. They can always look over the top and see the potentials, where things could go, how things could be sorted out. Natural leaders, natural guides. And so in the highest frequency, this whole concept of benevolence, how do we make it worth everybody's while, that we make a huge step up, that we do something very different? We move out of the logical side of things where, you know, we've got to fight our way through things, or the collective side of following the same old footsteps we've done forever. And so the 5th line here with the 8 is looking to see what's the timing, what's the attitude that's needed to get everybody on board here. And so your timing and attitude assures how well any contribution is received. It's about encouraging the right people. It's getting people to step up. It's getting to people to see, yes, there's a way through. We can really do something amazing here. Trust me. Your abundant and kindly manner gifts everyone who is drawn to you. And those with the 8 line 5, they'll know that about themselves. Yeah, somehow or other, all I got to do is be nice, be kind to people, you know, to pay attention to what they're offering, you know, to see how nobody's ever recognized them before and how to draw that creativity out of them. And sure enough, everybody steps up. The other side of it, your persistent contribution is ultimately appreciated, whether you know this or not. And there can be that situation with the 8 line 5. It's like, doesn't matter what I do. It's like, I never seem to realize, it never seems to come about. And actually, what you'll find is there's a huge appreciation for your efforts of getting people on the page, even if things don't come out exactly as planned. As we say, you know, the destination is one thing, how to get there is another. And so the expectations of how you're going to arrive at your destination, not so clear. But just holding the vision, holding the concept, we can do this, we can make this jump. You've got to trust me on this. And then all of a sudden, yes, it happens. And then maybe you look around and just see, yeah, people do appreciate my input here. The other side of it, we get to the sixth line here. And the sixth line, always at the top of the thing, having the overview of everything that's going on, the whole arena of contribution, bringing things together. And it's called re-evaluating, constantly encouraging harmonious environments. We can do it. We can manage this. We can make this jump. Trust me. Hold the trust. Keep the faith. You participate best when you appreciate the vital nature of all empowering contributions. It's about spreading the net very widely and seeing what is the overall effect here. What are all the different contributions that can come together here? How do we bring it all together? Right? We've got old ways of doing things. We've got set ways of doing things. We're definitely involved in doing something different and creative. How do we get everybody to participate or to sense that they are participating, that they're contributing? You comprehend the essence of creative contributions that bring benefits for everybody. What a blessing when everybody feels like they've contributed something, right? They've all been involved in some way or other. They're all putting some effort into it, no matter what their role is within it. And a creative endeavor, something gets built out of it. Some new structure, some new understanding, some new set of ideals is put forward. The other side of it, you can become tangled in dramatic personal interactions that result in regrets. And there it is. You sometimes can be very much the figurehead of whatever it is the change is needing to be. And you have to watch out for getting too involved in it all, overly involved, and getting tangled up in other people's concepts of what's allowed, what's not allowed. I'm saying, you know, we're entering into this age of the individual. We're all having to stand up in a very, very different way, perhaps, than we have done in other ages and other times, that we all have to stick up for ourselves. And it really is a time where, as the systems, the collective systems come unglued, all the traditional things start fading. And we have to step into the new. We have to step into something different. And so the Eighth Gateway, this role of holding it together, getting everyone to contribute, getting everyone on the same page, it's quite a work, but totally worthwhile.